Well, there had been rumors he might do this, but anytime a player willingly takes less money than he could get, it is surprising. And if we are going to be fair, James Harden, who has been one of the most heavily criticized players in the league over the last year, and by the way, the vast majority of that criticism has been totally fair. But if we're going to be fair, we have to applaud this. James Harden, absolutely. I don't know, he's probably going to sign a 3-year deal. Absolutely could have gotten 3 years at the max from Philadelphia. He's going to take less than that purely to raise his chances of winning a championship and to help the team. And that is something that is in sports basically universally applauded. So I think when the day the Sixers traded for Harden, I saw our pal Bobby Marks go on the other network and say, James Harden is going to sign the worst contract in NBA history. Remember, he did the whole thing. He was like, it's going to be 5 years, $250 million. It's going to be worse than the Russ contract, worse than the John Wall contract. And now I don't think a 5-year max was in the offing for James Harden, Brew, because of how he played once he got to Philadelphia. But I am quite confident he could have gotten 3 years at the max. And I think he's going to end up taking 3 years at less than the max. And I think that's the type of thing we should give him credit for, because it's going to help them sign PJ Tucker or whomever Daryl decides to go after to raise their chances of winning a title.
Nick, I'm not surprised. I'm not. For all the love of the nightlife and the fancy clothes that James Harden likes to wear, he has shown that he's not just about the money. And he's made $270 million throughout his career. So he's obviously not hurting for money. But remember, in the fall of 2020, he turned down a 2-year, $103 million contract extension from the Rockets that would have made him the first $50 million man per season in the NBA ever. Yeah. He turned it down and went to Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, they offered him a 3-year. A year later, they offered him a 3-year, $161 million contract extension that he turned down. Now, maybe he was seeing the, handwriting on the wall with Kyrie and Durant and all that stuff, but he turned it down and kept his options open. All right, so I do believe that James Harden is the type of guy that puts his personal happiness, and I respect that. Am I happy where I'm at? Am I happy with who I'm working with? Am I happy with the basketball situation? Above making every last dollar that you can. And you should have that mindset when you've made as much money as he has. So I'm not surprised. I guess it's admirable, Nick, but I'm not going to applaud him. You know what I'm going to applaud? When he shows that he can consistently deliver in the big playoff games. Like, everybody's wondering, this should endear him to the Sixers fans. No! What's going to endear him to the Sixers fans is when you give me more than a total of 25 points in the last 2 games of a playoff series against Miami. So this is fine. This is nice. But James Harden, that's what's got to change in Philly. His mentality, Embiid's mentality. PJ Tucker will help bring some toughness. But that's really what I'm about. This is nice. It's cute. It's good. He did turn down more money, but people are saying, I want to see what you do in the playoffs.
It's nice. It's cute. It's good. When you get the cute from Broussard, it's never really a compliment. A lot of times I'll give a take. You're like, cute take. Wow. It's like, oh, brother, that stunk. Okay, here's the thing. If this is true, Nick, and you were happier about this in the meeting than all of us, then James Harden needs to call up Lil Baby and say, hey, I know you got an album coming out. Remember the last video we did when I was giving you the honey buns and I give you a bunch of money and a watch, I believe? Can we do that again? And maybe around your birthday, but this time I will say, oh, sorry, Lil Baby, I can't give you as much money as you did because I took less because I'm committed to winning with Philadelphia. And Lil Baby, like, it's okay. That's an admirable act, James Harden. Because there are so many things on this side of the ledger where people look at James Harden and be like, what are you doing? You quit on the Rockets. You quit on the Nets. You had a bad game. You're out celebrating. There's so much stuff on this side of the public relations ledger for James Harden. if he's turning down millions of dollars, then he should have a full-on campaign to be like, hey, I did this. It shouldn't take an accountant to go through the mid-level exception in the rising salary cap for us normal basketball fans to be like, man, that was cool. Good job, James Harden. He's dedicated to this team. Because right now, I think there's still questions. And if you're turning down millions of dollars, he deserves to be praised. But I kind of want to wait until to see the contract that he's actually going to sign. I'm for him. It's just pro bono publicist work from me to James Harden.
Wait a minute. You're saying he needs to publicize it more. What are you talking about? The news came out yesterday. We're talking about it this morning. Again, like this space-time continuum Wilds lives in.
Mid-level exception.
Like, the news broke hours ago. You want there to be more publicity about it. Harden is not what you want. Okay, Harden would get ripped if he came out and was like, hey guys, I'm only going to take $42 million instead of the $48 million I could get, because people would be like, oh, James Harden, play me the tiniest violin. It is our job to inform the public about what's happening. It is our job to say James Harden could have gotten 3 years at max money from Philadelphia. He is taking less than that for one reason and one reason only. So the team has a better chance of winning a championship. That is in and of itself by how, if we are going to treat Harden fairly at all, we have to say that's admirable. The same way we would say it if this news came out about Steph or Giannis or any of the players that have near universal approval ratings. And Brew, I think you are cross-pollinating things. What I'm saying can be true. And it can also be true that the most important thing is that he produces in the postseason. These to me are unrelated stories. James Harden playing poorly against the Miami Heat in the playoffs is one thing. James Harden and what he is going to do to try to help the Sixers fill out the roster to the best of their ability is another thing. I don't see how those two are correlated.
Let me ask this though, Nick. Are we judging this on a curve? I mean, did we give this did we fawn over Tom Brady all the years he took and did it in Tampa Bay as well?
Yes!
He's taking less money than he could get. Really? I didn't fawn over him. Okay, you fawned over him. Okay, I don't even remember you fawning over him. You probably didn't. You're probably ripping. Did people fawn? People said Patrick Mahomes took a bad contract. He did the same thing in Kansas City to leave money for his teammates. So I'm just saying, this isn't like completely unprecedented. I said it the other day. LeBron James was willing to do it when he went to Miami to join Wade and Bosh. So again, it is admirable. But if you want me to sit here and applaud and forget all the James Harden quitting on the last two teams he played with, and not showing up in the big games, I'm not. It's nice. It is a good gesture. But he's still filthy rich beyond his wildest dreams if he played for 25 cents this year. So let's just keep it in perspective.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.